Hey, can you hear me? Hamilton. Good afternoon. Hi. Is the sound okay? Because I can plug my mic in, but I'm charging my phone too, so. Okay, great. Say Hamilton, they're saying hi. Okay. A little low on sound. Let me try the mic real quick. Let me switch over. Um, and see, this should be better. Is this better? Hi, Witchy Wallflower. Oh, me too. Okay. Let me. This thing is like. I'm so. This is only my second time going live, so please bear with me. Trying to see a better way to get the to view the chat is what I'm trying to do. I don't know why it's. Alright, let me try it this way. Okay, sorry about that. Can you still hear me okay? Okay. All right. So I think I'm gonna mispronounce it. Elemsky. Um, I think you were here first. So, hi Lois. Okay, so I think Olemsky's first. If you would like a reading, and Lewis, you are next. Hi. So what's going on? Do you have a deck in mind? Reading regarding your health. So can you tell me a little bit more, like, what's going on with your health? Health is a touchy subject for tarot. Okay, so you're still recovering. So what are you... Okay, let me ask you this. If I had a magic wand and I could create one change for you right now, just within you, not, win the lottery, not sprout some wings, which would be super cool, but something within you, what would you want? Hi, Sharon. Boy, that sounds really familiar. I gotta tell you. Let me to reduce. Oh my dear. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you. I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not trying to like sell up anything, but I don't know if you've seen my hypnosis channel. My specialty is helping people with anxiety and, any kind of less than positive feelings and things. Yeah, I absolutely understand. So I have some techniques on that channel that you can watch to help you get control, especially for anxiety. I have a fabulous technique. It's like a 5-minute video. Um, and it's basically a bilateral movement. I am going to do a reading, but this is important. Um, all you have to do is take something that you can easily hold in one hand, and then you're going to bring it out, switch back at the center line of your body. That's the key, because when you feel anxious, it creates a cluster in one hemisphere of the brain. This is just a bilateral movement to break up the cluster. The cluster goes away, the feeling goes away. Oh, thank you. Oh, good. I had to put that in. But let's get to your reading, and I'm gonna try very hard to get everybody in order. So, if I missed somebody as I go, please let me know. You'd be like, I was here first before this other person, because I definitely would not try to miss anybody. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So, oh, good, thank you. You are welcome. So, are we looking for how to get control back? Would you say that's fairly accurate? Oh, thank you. Oh, first time. Yeah, Sharon. I'm gonna get you in order. So, and of course, what you've already said about those anxious feelings. A lot of times they can create that kind of chaos in your mind, right? Doesn't shut off, won't quiet down, and so of course, what do you need? Some silence, yeah, probably. So, but how do you go about it, right? Because that's really what's important. Um, can I ask you, feel if look for everybody, if I ask you something and you don't want to answer it, if it's too private or whatever, definitely, you can say that, right? It's no big deal. But you said it was abdominal surgery. Was it by chance like a hysterectomy? Okay. So I just wanted to make sure this wasn't literal. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Um, so then to me, this is talking about moving into that space of that kind of creating your own womb, right? That safe space for you. Place where you can play, that place where you can kind of be at peace. And I think there's a physical aspect that, like, if you address it on a physical level, it's gonna, all these bodies are connected, right? You have your physical body, your mental, emotional, your spiritual. They're all connected. And if there's a trouble in one of the bodies, it bleeds into the others. But it's also true that if you make adjustments to one body, those adjustments filter out to the others as well. And sometimes it's easier to address it in a different body first to get that going. So I feel like one of the first things you can do, and hopefully one of the easiest things, is to create a space for yourself that's safe, that's kind of that's filled with things that remind you of times when you were safe, of things that are safe. Like if you feel safe in the woods, bring the woods inside to you. Bring in some branches and decorate them. Things that, whatever it is, it might seem silly, it might seem, whatever, but create that space somewhere. It can be in a whole room, it can be in a corner, but somewhere that you're just surrounded, even on a small scale, by things that generate that feeling of safety, right? And things that kind of bring you to more in tune with that inner child. And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to grab another deck because I just feel like I want to use this deck with you. So hold on one sec. Okay, I'm so sorry. I actually wanted to grab a different deck, but I don't know where it is. So we're going to go with this one, which I think is also a fabulous choice. Oh, by the way, this is Oasis Oracle, and this is Mons Tarot. Yeah, a couple decks fell. So let's kind of look at a lot of times after surgery, you can get stuck in that that sort of fight or flight, and definitely that creates that feeling of anxiousness. So part of it is about sending the signal to your system that you're no longer in that place, right? That it can trust you to take care of it and begin healing on that deeper level. We got two that need to come. Yeah, so for this, I feel like there may be like a sort of part conflict, right? Where, you know how we all have all these different parts. Like sometimes you'll be like, oh, part of me wants to go to the beach, but the other part of me wants to go to the mountains, right? So we all have these parts and they all serve a purpose. And, so certainly there's that one part that's trying to protect you, right? Wants to keep you safe. And that's where you're stuck in that fight or flight. But then, of course, there's that other part of you that says, you know what? We need to begin to relax now. We need to begin to let go, to kind of find our center again. Maybe to allow ourselves to feel a little more grounded. Um, and those parts need to come together. And they need to come to a meeting of the mind, so to speak. Um, and there are a lot of ways you can do that. I love that you got the Page of Wands, right? Because that's again a very youthful kind of playful energy. Um, and this is, of course, wands are doing stuff, right? They're not sitting back thinking about it or dreaming about it. They're being active, and I think that's important for you. I think it's important to take some active steps toward reclaiming yourself. And again, I really feel like creating that womb-like environment is going to benefit you. And I would say spend like at least 10 minutes a day in there. Um, and while you're in there, yeah, while you're in there, I think this can be a place of sort of like a control room for you, right? A place where, because it's your womb and it's that safe place for you to grow, I think this is a good place for you to really tap in with with those parts. You might even spend some time allowing them to talk, right? Just use your imagination and say, okay, right now, I'm going to be that part that up until now has been just a little bit, a little hyper vigilant, right? It's been really concerned about my well-being and things like that. And just allow yourself to talk. Just start just spewing stuff out. Even if it doesn't feel like it makes sense. That first thing that comes out of your mind, just talk, just ramble, just let it go. Almost like a vomiting of words. And then, when that part has said everything that needs to be said, be the other part. That part of you that wants to have fun, that wants to reclaim the power, the energy, the confidence, the calm, and allow that part to talk. And then have your mediator come in, that part that has all the control, that part that knows exactly what needs to be done, and let that part talk. And listen to them. Listen to each of them. What do they say? It might help to journal it. It might help to record it and listen back. But just allow yourself to do it. You can also do it with tarot. And you could, for example, say, like, well, let's do it. That part that's holding on to that less than positive stuff, what does it want from you, right? What does it want? What is the thing that it most wants for you? That's interesting. So for the Chariot, right, if that's the response, I feel like it's like I could see this chariot rushing through all of these obstacles or these dangers, right? And it's so funny because it I feel like he's a little bit worried, right? Like he's in control, but he's a little worried. Like there are things all around. And he's got to keep that control to keep safe. And I think that's what it wants. It wants that safety, but it also wants you to take control. It wants you to, kind of take the wheel, right? But to do it in a very confident way, like an assertive sort of way. And then that part of you that wants to be free of that part that wants to be able to relax or just be calm, be quiet. Maybe it has some advice. And we have the 10 of Wands. And it's so interesting because we went from the page to the 10. And I feel like this is a callback to what's been going on. Like, sometimes that energy can be a burden, right? And maybe there's too much energy. And it's keeping you from that quiet place. And the thing about the 10 of Wands is, I guess with every card, but this primarily, I feel like there's that aspect of choice, right? You don't have to carry that burden. You can always set it down. And I think you need to set it down. I think there's that element of and nothing's coming up for this, but I just feel like trust is a big issue. And I think it's the trust in yourself. Trust in what you feel, what comes to you, trusting in your intuition of what's right for you, of what's safe for you. And, allowing yourself to act on it. Because maybe at some point you thought of things. I'm sure you thought of things that, felt like, oh, I should do this thing. And then you were like, nah, the logical mind kind of got in the way and said, no, you don't need that. Or that doesn't make sense. Or you need to tune in and trust yourself. Trust yourself to take care of yourself and to care for yourself. Yeah. And you can begin in little ways, right? Little, simple, silly things. Have fun with it. Maybe, say, maybe about what you wear, right? Just say, you know what? I'm not really going to think about what I'm going to wear today. I'm going to feel it. What feels right? What feels fun? What feels safe? What feels relaxing? Whatever it is for you. And just wear it. See, that's the thing. You have to follow through, right? Because when you listen to that voice, that you can't just listen and ignore it, right? Because that's not really listening. When I say listen, you have to do what it's telling you to do. And by doing that, even in these simple, silly things, it begins to build that trust within yourself. And you might even journal about it, right? And say like, okay, today I just, for some reason, I felt really drawn to this yellow hat, right? Whatever it was. And then maybe did you have any experiences with it? Maybe you went out and you got complimented on it. Maybe it just every time you passed yourself in the mirror, it gave you a little smile. It kind of brightened up your day. Maybe the yellow brightened up your face. And kind of track these things and allow yourself to really notice the changes that happen. when you do these things. And I think that that can be really, really powerful for you. And I think also you have to give yourself time to rest. Everybody recovers at different rates, you know, and I think you have to, there's that balance, right? That balance aspect. And I think that it's important to really tune in with yourself and try to figure out if, for example, if you're like, oh, I just want to stay in bed. Where's that coming from? What part? Do you need to stay in bed because you need a little more time to rest today? Maybe you overdid it a little yesterday? Or is it coming from that part that's fearful? That's saying, I don't want to deal with the world. I don't want to deal with whatever. I'm just going to stay in bed. And I think even when it's the fearful part, sometimes you got to listen to that too. And I think that also helps build the trust, but to do it in that mindful way. To say, I understand this is speaking to me out of fear. But you know what? Maybe I'll spend some time in my womb and give it that security and listen a little bit. So I hope that's helpful. I really want you to take away the idea of just being kind to yourself and patient with yourself, because there's no one answer. There's no one time frame, right? Everybody's different. And doctors may say, oh, we expect it to take this long or that long, and you might need more time. And that's okay, right? Now if you're like, I'm tired of it, I have to move on now, then that may be a little different. But I think if you begin to do these things and incorporate these things and do it mindfully with intention, it's going to help you to move forward faster and to be more comfortable and to even tell yourself things, remind yourself, right? That, this was traumatic and it was awful and the recovery sucks. But you know what? You're here. You're here. So as awful and traumatic as it was, you survived it. And now it's time to thrive. So is that helpful? Oh, you're welcome. Okay, Lewis is next. And now, Lewis, you wanted the crystal visions and dream keepers? Is that right? Oh, good. I'm so glad. It's my way of business and work to produce greater joy and happiness. These are the decks you wanted, right? Okay. Trying to decide which one calls to me first. Okay. But you asked for these, right? Or was that someone else? I just want to make sure I'm not confusing you. Which alchemical? I have a couple alchemical. Are you talking about the one by uh um Sharon's guy? I can't think of him. Yeah, Robert, right? Robert, what the heck's his name? Robert somebody. He's got an alchemical. I have a couple ones that are alchemical. Place, yes, thank you so much. Trying to think of what. Is that the one you're talking about, Lewis, by Robert M. Place? Or yeah, don't you hate that? I'm so sorry, Witchy. I can't. Sometimes words just get stuck. Alright, well, you know what? I feel like... I thought Lewis was the one who asked for those, but if not, I'm going to use a different deck. Because I just feel like... Who do we want to use for work? Oh, is this? Nah. Okay, hang on. Okay, this is not any of the alchemicals, but I don't know. It just feels better for work stuff. So, this is the Baroque Tarot. So let's see how this does. So, oh, okay. So, way of moving forward in business and work to produce greater joy and success. Are the joy and success tied together? I'm just curious. Or are they kind of separate things? I feel stuck. Oh no. Okay. Is it a fear of is the fear blocking both things, the joy and the success? Or do you not know? Yes, okay. So let's see what's really going on, right? Another emperor. So, with the emperor, my first thought is, yeah, especially in terms of fear, I see the emperor as control right now, anyway. Um, so, of course, the question, though, is it a fear of losing control, or is it a fear of being controlled? Or maybe even both. So you have these good ideas, great ideas, and you start them, but then you freeze. So the King of Cups and the Fool. So I feel like it's a lack of trust in yourself, a lack of belief in yourself, right? I feel like, it's so funny because oftentimes I focus on helping people kind of with their unconscious mind, as opposed to their conscious one. But I feel like it's the opposite in your case. I feel like your unconscious, your emotional brain, that part of you that, you know, provides your intuition. I feel like that part's in good shape. It's that logical brain that's stopping you. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so funny because usually the root of everything is at the unconscious level. And I'm sure there is like a root there, but I definitely think that it's the logical part that's holding you back, that's holding you up. So the real question, of course, is what do you need to do to move forward so that you can be really free to take that leap, to trust in yourself, to trust in the universe. I do feel like it's more of a trust in yourself that needs to be built. A lot of times with this, it might be more of like the universe, but I think it's a trust in yourself in this case for you. So we got 2. Yeah. I think that oh, thank you. I think that I just feel like you're talking yourself out of everything. And so I'm very kind of blunt with what I say, and I would never intend to say anything that, would be unpleasant. I feel like there's this, like something's been kind of programmed in, you know, um, maybe at an earlier time. I feel like there was an outside influence telling you that maybe you weren't good enough or you weren't whatever. Um, and it might not have been like a constant thing, but it just got in at the exactly wrong time. Um, and I feel like it's kind of severed this strength a little bit, right? But I mean, the good news is it's there, right? It's not like it's not there. You can't get in touch with it. But I feel like that's kind of where the root is. So I think this is about kind of communing and reconnecting with that strength. And I feel like you're at the place right now where you need to, you're at that crossroad. You need to really commit to one particular path, right? Now, that's not to say that the path can't change or whatever, but at this moment, and I think that path needs to be about reconnecting with your inner strength. Because that's going to bring you so much joy just on its own, right? To be able to be that authentic self, to be able to trust in yourself. I mean, my God, if you can't trust in yourself, you can't trust in anyone. Because the reality is, if you choose someone to trust, but you don't trust yourself, how can you trust your choice, right? So you're always going to be second guessing everything. Yeah. And I think that moving down this path is going to, don't be scared. Some people get scared. Don't get scared. This is fabulous because this is showing the end of this other path, this old path, this path that was holding you back, right? It's the death of that and the birth of something better, something more joyful, more powerful. But the question is how to build that strength, how to build that confidence. And it's that conscious voice, right? The voice that you use to speak to yourself. You need to begin telling yourself more powerful things, more empowering things. And, words have power. They have so much power. And we believe the things we tell ourselves. And if you start by saying, you know what? Make a list, because lists are great. Like, physically write it. Don't type it. Make a list of all the things you've accomplished, of all the great ideas that you've had, of all the things that you've been successful with, or maybe you would have been if you had followed through, right? Make that list. And then every night before bed, remind yourself, read that list, say it, speak it. And say, you know what? Look at all these wonderful, powerful, smart things that I've done, that I've come up with, all these things I've accomplished, all these things that show how strong I am, how smart I am, how capable I am. And you want to do this before bed because at night, your unconscious mind, which is already, I think, on the side of this strength, is going to help to reinforce this and empower it and take it to that next level. And keep a tally of all these choices you make, even little choices, silly choices. And, maybe just say like why they were good choices, right? To, maybe you're going to go out later and, it feels like it might rain. They're not really forecasting it, but it feels like it. So you bring an umbrella. And then sure enough, it rains. Write that down, right? You listen to your inner self and you were right. Write it down. And if something happens and you, so you brought the umbrella and it didn't rain, okay? Who cares? So what? At least you had the umbrella in case you need it. And maybe it was fun to twirl around. Or, maybe it could be a neat icebreaker with people and they see the umbrella and they're like, hey, it's sunny out. Why do you have an umbrella? Or maybe it'll protect you from the sun and you can use it more as like a parasol. But you want to focus on those positive things. Don't worry about if at any point it doesn't quite work out or work out the way you expected. But I want you to look for ways in which maybe it works out in a way that you didn't expect. Yeah. Yeah, you just have to begin showing yourself and reminding yourself. Because unfortunately what happens is whatever's familiar gets in, right? So if take a person who, maybe all his life he was told he was a jerk and stuff like that. And he's walking down the street one day and somebody's like, oh, look at that jerk. He's gonna believe it. He's gonna be like, yeah, I'm a jerk. Everybody tells me I'm a jerk. But now imagine that same guy's walking down the street and somebody sees him and they're like, oh, he looks so sweet. He's gonna be like, what? What? I never heard that. I'm not sweet. I'm a jerk. So he tosses that out, right? And the same is reversed. If somebody was raised around just positive, wonderful things and they were told that they could do anything and they're so capable and strong and stuff like that, and they're going out through their lives and somebody's like, you can't do that, it's gonna just bounce right off of them because they're like, of course I can. I'm so capable. I can do anything, because that's what they were told forever, right? So and again, it doesn't necessarily have to be that's all I ever heard. It could be one time something just sort of slipped in and it latched on. But you can recondition yourself, and this is one way in which you could do it. And again, I feel like it's that logical mind. So by writing these things down, by keeping notes, by keeping track, you're addressing it in that logical level. But it's also working on the unconscious level. And you want to write it, speak it, say it. Or read it, write it, read it, speak it. Because it just has more power the more ways you incorporate it. And maybe, you know what you need to do too? I want you to reward yourself when you've done something, even again, like the umbrella, even something like that. And it could be anything. It could be, I'm going to make a really nice cup of tea and just sit down and just have some quiet time for 10 minutes because I was so good at bringing that umbrella and, I listened to my intuition and, I was right. So reward yourself consciously, intentionally, and that's going to help power this too. Does that make sense? Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, and so this card is so funny. Can I tell you, this is one of the cards that like haunts me because I have issues with balance. But it's so funny because in your case, I feel like if you do these things, it's going to create that balance for you. And that's where you're going to be. And by creating that balance, of course, you'll be creating that success and that joy. Oh, thank you. You are so kind. But let me know how it goes. Genuinely. All right, so I think next is, I just want to make sure. think we have Witchy Wallflower and then Sharon. So do you want a reading, Witchy Wallflower? Oh, good. Thank you, Lois. Okay. All right, Sharon, you are up. What do you have a deck in mind? If it's close by, I can grab it. Um, and do you have a? I don't know if you wrote a topic. Oh, I'm making a decision. Oh, ooh, three choices. Right. Um. So I'm gonna move to another. Leave the company. Just not. Okay. Let's see. What's a good deck for choices? Um. What about Sasarai Bito? Oh, oh my goodness! I can't believe you don't have this deck. I love this deck. This is one of the first ones. Well, maybe not the first. It was one of the earlier ones that I really clicked with. Other than Thoth. Um. So yeah. So I love doing. Can I tell you? I love doing choice readings. So they're just really interesting to me. Um. So we have three paths, right? So let's explore each one. Right? So whether to stay, move to another team, or move to another company. So let's look at staying first. Ah, of course. So what's gonna be that challenge with staying? Does it, where you are currently, is it kind of a little bit is it getting boring? Is it kind of a little a little old hat at this point? Okay. But is this a very secure position? Yeah. I feel like the the drawback to staying is maybe a sort of stagnation in terms of things, yeah. But there's a lot of security, right? It's, I imagine, a lucrative position, right? But now, if you were to just move to a different team, what's going on there? Now, I will say with the wheel, I feel like this is less, this is more in flux than it might normally be. So, like, in this moment right now, this is kind of where I see it going, but I feel like this could easily shift. Maybe if one, maybe two things were to happen, this could completely flip around. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe like a manager changing or moving, or maybe a reorganization. Like I just feel like something like that could easily happen. But let's look at a different team, which I love. Can I tell you how much I love that card? And that card kind of reminds me of you. I'm just saying. Um, nah, she's older than you. Don't be insulted. But I don't know. It's just the vibe. Um, but it's a wonderful warm card, and it's a card of joy and bliss. I, you know, you're not old. But it's that stage more than the age itself. You know what I mean? But also the Queen of Pentacles. I love that. So I do think that that's your challenge, right? And I think that um, I feel like the challenge in a new team is going to be really about taking too much on, and about maybe even almost a sort of overwhelm. The Queen of Pentacles is very I mean, she's not the Empress, but there's still that sort of like fertile, abundance. And in this case, because this is, in a challenge space, I think there's a potential for overwhelm, right? I feel like there's a lot to do, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that it's just something you would need to be careful of, right? And the star's the benefit. And of course, that's that hope, that guiding light, which is wonderful. Yeah, so is that other team, are they kind of floundering a little bit? Yeah. Yeah, and so I feel like you'll become the star for them too, and maybe for the company in a lot of ways. But now, if you were to leave the company, if you were to leave, oh, it's scary, right? It's scary to leave a company, especially if you've been there for a long time. And that's definitely something that I feel like you might need to address. And I also feel like you're going to have a lot of choices if you choose to leave. You know, I think that you can be very, very sought after. Um, Yeah. And so, for the result of leaving, I do feel like it would be good for you in one hand to kind of flex that, to really face that. I don't know if it's necessarily a fear, but it could be a little uncomfortable, right? Starting in a completely new place could be exciting too, though. But I feel like it will help you grow. Yeah. And the Knight of Pentacles, I feel like I feel like you're gonna do well no matter what you pick, right? That's the reality. I feel like with the Knight of Pentacles, it might take you a little while to kind of get your feet. You're gonna have to move a little more slowly with this than with these. That's not a bad thing. It's just a thing, right? Um, yeah, yeah. But again, I feel like you have a lot of options if you choose to go this route. This is a very safe place, which potentially could turn into more of what you want, because I do feel like there's something that's going to change. Not in a bad way about you, more about the issues you have with staying where you are. I feel like something's going to happen that's going to change that. So you might actually want to stay. Um, this is this is a really nice path. It's a lot of work, but I think you would probably like that. So that's the only thing about this one. This one is going to be more work, but I think it's going to be more satisfying. This one is going to be, a little uncomfortable, um, but it's going to help you to grow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pulling more toward the middle, but I mean, it's not my choice. But this one feels nice to me. Um, yeah, yeah. But again, the nice thing is, I feel like no matter what you choose, it's going to be a great choice, you know? Oh, good. Good. Oh, I'm excited. You gotta let me know how it goes, what you choose. Oh, you're welcome. I do too. I love this deck. The newer one is matte, the new version. Oh, good. Thank you. You're so sweet. See, that's why you remind me of the Queen of Cups. But yeah, this is by Stasia Burrington. Okay. So is there anybody else on who wants a reading? Don't know. I think that might be it. Oh, me too. Okay. Anybody else? If not, I'm going to close this out. Okay. I think we are done. So thank you for coming. Oh, you are the best. It's my pleasure. So I will see you next time. I'll see you Thursday, right? Yay. Okay. Have a fabulous day. If I can figure out how to end this. Oh my god. There we go.